Yeah, it's good.
It looks good.
Yeah.
So guys, unless you're a goanna and you've lived under a solid rock, Sam Sulek now owns his own gym. So for us loyal fans, we have to do exactly the same. So if you're paying $50 a week or a month to the App Party Tit or the Pink Pony Club, then you can save your $50, put it in your skyrocket and off you go. So in what's left of this daylight in this cruel summer, it's quite hot out here today, in this blank space in my chicken yard, I built a bench so I can train at home now, just like Sam does. Like Sam, you can make your friends envious because like you have your own gym, everything's ready to go, so you can just shake it off from your gym membership. Didn't use any power tools, I just use hand tools, so anybody can make it. It's going to cost me nothing. I just used a couple of bed frames that I found hanging around. Somebody was throwing them out. I grabbed them. Easy. So no AC/DC needed, no high voltage. You can paint it back in black if you like, or Black Sabbath black. So you don't need to get paranoid about anything. It's your bench. You do it your way, your measurements, your size, whatever you want. You know, this is your thing to do. Do it your way. So all you need some 9-inch nails, obviously, to put it together. You need a hammerhead like a hole. You need a dot 2 saw. That's an old one. I've got a new one. Anything else you might need, you can just find around the yard, bits and pieces. Okay, so if we do a walk around with my cameraman, we do a walk around the bench, you can see all the bits of the bed that are on there. We could use a proper bar. I've got a proper bar and some proper weights, but I used what I had for free. So that's an old sleeper here. These are parts of the bed frame. You can see that was the bed head. And we use these safety rails. I'll just show you, because then you don't need a spotter. You can train at home with no spotter. You won't get hurt. So if you get stuck under the bar, you can just crawl out from under it. And you won't get hurt. So, how do we make it? That's just like that. That's out of there. The easiest way to do this is you cut one of them in half. So if we have a look, that's just under 3 foot, or in my measurements, 90 millimeters. So we go right on half. That way we get 2 legs for 1 cut. Get yourself a square and you put your line across. You want a nice long line, like the angels would tell you. Do a long line, nice and straight, nice and square. Otherwise you're just a shadow boxer. Or if you got yourself a saw, that's actually 90 degrees there. Every saw you buy has that. So if you haven't got one of these, you got one of these. If you're a reasonably safe person, you use a clamp. and you clamp that on so that you can cut away. If you haven't got a clamp, then you got a leg and a foot. So all your cuts you'll do with your Dota 2 saw. You've got to glue this stuff together because the nails only hold it until the glue dries. Lost my hammer already. Any ideas what I did with the hammer? Under the saw. So here we are, we'll just make one leg. You get these your hardware store, whatever sizes, they come in all different sizes, so you grab the size that you need for your job. Now here's 3 I've already prepared. That's what goes in down here on all your corners. So that's a small version of my bench, and we're going to put that onto the corners. You need a reasonably long nail because you've got to go all the way through this and into there. And don't forget, everything's got to be glued. Now I'm really fortunate here because there's already a hole in it. Now, like I showed you before, you've got a square, so you can square your leg up using your saw, or you can use a square. That way you get a nice neat job. So these had screws in them when they were into the bed. So instead of putting them at the bottom, I put them at the top. That way it's easier for me to nail. So try to find ways to make it easier for yourself. You're way out in front then. You can see it's not a precision job. Nothing has to be perfect because it's just a chicken yard bench, or wherever you choose to put yours. Might be putting yours in the garage, might be putting yours in the basement. Wherever you choose that you're going to put your bench, that's up to you. Sam's obviously, he's got himself a warehouse spot, and not many of us can afford that. So we have to make do with what we have to make do. I'm using a chicken yard because I've got no other room in my yard or house or garage, but you know, as long as you get to work out, it don't matter. So there's a trick with the fourth leg. If you put it on now, like that, when you go to put it in place, it's going to be rocking and rolling all over the place. Especially when you've got real even ground like I've got. And with your bench, you don't want your bench to be able to rock. You want it solid. So even though I'm in a chicken yard on a dirt floor, I've got a solid bench. So that's important, not only for your safety, but you know, if you're pressing 300 pounds, then you want it good and solid. So with the last leg, the fourth leg, in place is where you put the leg in. So it's going to be solid. You can see that that's just a smaller version of my bench. And that's all you got to do. So I'll just sneak off behind my cameraman and we'll put a small dumbbell on here. The glue's not even dry, but you can see it's solid, not going to go anywhere. So same deal with your bench. It's an easy job. So there's a couple of things I'll show you that may save you a little bit of time. When you're down at the hardware store picking up your brand new saw, picking up your bicep glue, these are handy. You can put them onto your bench for holding up your bar or your weights. And these ones just screw on. Or up the top, if you come in close enough, you can see you've got a small hole where you could put a nail, and these are the nails on this side. So they're really handy. So we've got these numbers, and if you're doing something like this, which is obviously down there near the bottom, and this is hardwood. If you're going to try and nail into hardwood, you're going to split it. So you'll use something like this. You'll put it into the end, you'll nail it in, and then you get yourself some of these. They're called clouts. And you're just bashing through the hole. So that's how you would join that to there. That would save you from having to put nails through here, and that wood's going to split because it's hardwood. The other thing that can come in very handy is that was actually part of the bed frame. It already came with a bracket, so you can use that down in positions like that. Instead of throwing it away and having to make something, you've already got it. So again, you're way out in front if you do something like that. You've got strips like this down at the hardware store. If you want to join these two together, make them really strong, you can nail that to there, flip it over and nail that to there, and you've got it really strong. So you've got the corner pieces. If you didn't have a bracket like that, then you can just use those clout nails and you can make it like that. And you've also got, if you wanted to join this piece to there, you've got brackets there with nail holes in them. You just put that on there and go through the nail holes. Don't forget to put your glue on. So you don't need lots of equipment, you don't need power tools, nail, hammer, saw, glue. You can build just about any piece of gym equipment that you need. And don't forget that your saw, even the brand new one, already has a 90 degree, and that's 45. So if you need to do a 45 degree cut, you can just put your saw like that, and then you've got 45 degrees. 45 degrees the other way, like that. So you've saved yourself on buying one of these, a square. Now, one thing to finish off your bench is you've got a sharp edge here that will get you between your shoulder blades. So you get yourself a rasp and you just take that edge off. If you haven't got a rasp, you can use sandpaper. If you haven't got a sandpaper, you've got absolutely nothing. You can use a brick. As my cameraman comes in, you can see the brick's made a nice edge there. It's not sharp, it's got no splinters, and it cost me nothing because I just used an old paver. So in closing, I think I've explained all this for you. You can make yours your way to suit you. I just want to put a small shout out to Will Tennyson. I've been watching him for quite a long time, and according to Uncle Greg, he's prepping now to do shows, and like, that's great, good on him. I can't wait to see. But I just like to say to all of his fans, everybody, that you've got to cut Will some slack, because if Will doesn't look as good as maybe you think he could, well, you got to remember that his channel is not eating bodybuilding food. He does a lot of things on his channel that have absolutely nothing to do with bodybuilding. For instance, one time he ate like Queen Elizabeth for the whole day. And I can't remember what year it was, but if Queen Elizabeth did actually do a bodybuilding show, I honestly can't remember it. So perhaps she was up against King Ronnie Coleman, and Mark Max Muscle will probably be able to do a comparison of those two for us. But you've just got to cut Will some slack if he doesn't look quite as good as you thought he should. And you just got to remember that a lot of what he does has nothing to do with bodybuilding. And he could do a lot better if he had the time like Sam Sulek did to prep properly. But you go for it, Will. So that's signing off. And I just like to say, lift weights, live life.
Is this a blooper?
This is just nothing, I'm just talking to you. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I can see myself getting to 270 pounds like Sam Sulek. So I give that the 2 thumbs up, guys.